Okay, it's been 10 years since Dropsy first released, and 3 since the beach update.
It's time to remind you that this game exists.
This is Dropsy by Tendershoot and A Jolly Corpse.
Yup, budget clown. I have coal, eyeliner, and a dream.
Dropsy is an adorable point-and-click hug venture.
Yeah, it's not horror. Sorry, fellas.
Unless you're scared of clowns no matter the circumstances. Then I suppose it is horror. You control Dropsy, a friendly clown who's despised by his entire town, and you can help people and make friends. There's also a story, but the main driving force is making friends. So,
If this sounds interesting to you, get out of here and go play it for yourself. Let's not waste any more time and get into the game.
So the game doesn't have any dialogue, but the images make the story very clear. There was a fire in the circus and Dropsy's mom died in it. We wander through this nightmare realm until we're swallowed up by the floor and wake up in our bed. And we have a dog! Hello, handsome boy! On the floor here, we grab a beautiful portrait of our family, and then we get our introduction to a beloved mechanic of the game. Hugs! While editing this video, I actually created a green screen version of it, so I'm gonna link it in the description. Everyone we befriend, we can hug, including inanimate objects, and then Dropsy draws them and glues them to the wall. This is the life I was born for. Anyways, looking at the TV, we can see that the news are on. All the writings in the game, well, look like this, but we can see a 5. So it's been 5 years since that fire, and people are still debating whether we're innocent or guilty. Walking further to the right, we can see a cake, and a portrait of our mom wearing a birthday hat. Damn, she died on her birthday? That sucks. Going through this door, we enter the workshop, and here we can grab a locket. Leaving the tent, we see our dad hobbling about. He tells us that he's off to work. We hug him, and he reminds us that it's Mom's birthday, and tells us to take the gift to the graveyard. We grab a tomato here, and our dog tells us that he wants to grab his gift before we head off. Here we can see that our dog can dig these areas with darker dirt, so it's something to keep in mind. And from his excavation, he retrieves a sock. It's the thought that counts, I guess. On our way through the forest, we talk to and hug our squirrel friend. Going deeper into the woods, we see this mutant chicken grab its chick and get away from us. There's also a fish that's sad and heartbroken in this pond. Now, Dropsy's puzzles are very few and far between. It's mostly just a bunch of interconnected fetch quests.
But unlike all games that include endless fetch quests, it doesn't feel frustrating and lacking.
Maybe it's just the joy of, ooh, I'm gonna give a flower to someone who's sad and needs to be cheered up. Maybe it's just the game never promises to make the gears in your brain work overtime. So you don't go into it and think, what is this brain dead ordeal? Anyways, there's this sad tree we can hug. Seems like we're gonna need more hugs than that. When we enter the playground, there's this boy that goes, "Ah, evil clown, run!" And that makes us sad. We enter the main street, and here there are two sad women, but they don't like us either. In this alley, we find a microphone and a flower, but can't really do anything for this guy. There's a church to the right, and there's a woman preaching the gospel here. And the people just are so tired of her BS. I think it's really cool that her preaching has a kind of rhythm to it though. Listen. On the wall, we can see a newspaper article showing the old priest, and who I assume is the blonde woman back in the day. It's kind of unclear what's happening, but we can see that they go way back. Anyway, she tells us that we can't have a sandwich, and we notice that there's a radio with a cassette player, but we don't really have anything to play yet. Further to the right, we can see a building with the same picture that was in the locket. Maybe we can make some friends there. It seems that it's a costume shop, and the employee doesn't like us. Well, you don't have to tell me twice. Following him inside, he tells the owner that he doesn't like us, and the owner is furious, telling him to get back to work, he's wasting money, and he goes back to work. Next to the cashier, we notice a portrait. "Hey dude, you got your locket?" But he screams at us and kicks us out. Here there's a music shop and a dumpster next to it, where we find a cassette tape. And then I remember that this game actually has a day and night cycle. Run! It's soon not gonna be Mom's birthday anymore. Oh, but what's this? Here in the graveyard, there's a custom store owner. "Hey sir, here's your locket." He's happy and we get a new friend. Anyways, we finally deliver Mom's birthday gifts. And Dropsy gives her a hug. Our dog reminds us that... Wait, does the dog have a name? Feels weird to keep calling him dog. Ugh. 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 Okay. Ugh. Here reminds us to go back home for Mom's birthday cake. Yeah dude, look at the sky, I don't think we'll make it in time. Walking down the street, we can see other people, like this beggar and a bouncer. So different actions are available at different times, and sometimes you have to wait for the right moment to strike. Back home, we arrive to see that bird creature steal one of our dad's wheels, and he asks us to get it back for him. Okay, so we have to get that bird costume somehow to trick the mutant bird. At the store, we find a coin in the breast pocket of the suit, and can take this vampire mask, but I'm not sure how to get the bird one yet. Well, anyways, the world's big, there's a lot to do. Walking through the desert, we find these hippies in the middle of nowhere. This girl longs for rock and roll. We try to give her the cassette tape, but no, that's not it. There's her brother too, who's suffering because the toilet smells. Hey dude, want a flower? No? Okay, I'll be back eventually. To the south, there's this guy and these obelisks. And then there's this place, and something in there is pretty hungry. Guys, please, calm down. I have a flower, a cassette tape, a nickel, and a vampire mask. Anything else is above my pay grade. At night, the hippies have gone to sleep, and we can use the bucket toilet. Okay dude, good call. Continuing our exploration of the desert, there's this guy at the junkyard who's also complaining about the smell. And of course, he doesn't want the flower either. Going to the right in the graveyard road, we see this facility and a security guard table with a Fabio book on it. Continuing to the right to see a plane that has seen better days, but we can't go there yet because the gate is on the way, I guess. Here, also uncovers a lavish tapestry we can sleep on. Sometimes you need to time skip, so yeah, slay. Well, now we have that tape, so we can actually disrupt this woman's sermon. And we grab a sandwich. We can give it to this old woman here, and we've made a new friend. She gets up to eat her sandwich by the bed and reveals a hole we can look into. But doesn't fit in there, so yeah, there's a hole. Continuing to the right on the main street, we see this angry cop looking for a guy with an eye patch. In this Georgia market looking building, we can see that it's sort of a medicine place. I thought those were Twinkies. Or maybe they're like healthy Twinkies? Marketing geniuses. Anyways, no one wants us here. Back to the main road, the beggar guy is back, so we give him our coin. And he goes straight into the bar. Well, when we give money away, we give it away. It's none of our business what gets done with it. Exploring the town further, we come across this abandoned trailer in the middle of a wheat farm. Strangely, there's only a gnome that's interactable here, even though there's this obvious trapdoor that Dropsy doesn't notice. Fine. Exiting to the right, we come across this guard who doesn't let us pass, asking for some sort of ID. At the beach, there's this guy drinking and sad, and this girl singing and sad, and this other girl who can't stand the noise and won't let us into the beach proper unless we pay. What in the... Pay all the beach? In this itsy bitsy little town? Good luck making any money. Fine, let's go do something else. Back to the hippies, turns out that all this guy wanted was some toilet paper. And just like that, yet another friend. Back in the main road, we give this girl the flower and boom, friends. Continuing to the left, we can see some ads. Seems like if you go to the hospital you'll die, but if you eat the health Twinkies you'll be great. To the south is the hospital, which has seen better days. The nurse sends us away, telling us to pay or scram. Further to the left, we can see the circus in the distance. Okay, didn't realize you could go south from here. On the road here, there's a picture of the costume store guy's wife. So I guess she died in the fire too. Left and south, there's this forest and a cavern. I don't know, but we find part of a statue here. There's another path to the south, but it's a bridge being guarded by a tough-looking woman. She obviously hates vampires and isn't sure if we're one or not. We can make her angry with the mask, but she doesn't really budge. And she doesn't allow us to touch the garlic to prove we're not vampires either, so yeah. Back to the bird costume guy, turns out that all you need to do is hug him again and he quits, being completely done with his job. And so we get the bird outfit, are airlifted to the nest, and get Dad's tire back. Our dad fixes his bike and then we all drive to the king of trash. When we arrive, he keeps screaming at Dad, "Wah wah, I'm wasting money, blah blah blah." And we're free to roam around the junkyard. Going further into it, we see this mutant rat terrorizing the little rat. We must help him! Here we can see 2 plates next to 2 control boards. Switches? Something important. To the left we find this. I'm not sure what I did there, but great. Here we can see the Junkyard King's room, and can dig up this secret stash. In there we find a key. Who's a good boy? Turns out that's the key to the fridge, where we find dozens upon dozens of expired Twinkies. Yum. Well, I'm sure the rat won't mind. We set one on the plate for it here, allowing us to turn the claw on. We lure it back with another spoiled Twinkie and use the claw to knock the stub over, trapping it. And now we get another friend! This is Mousy, and he also follows us around. So whenever can fit, Mousy can. With him, we can look under here, where we find another cassette tape and a recipe. Tomato, rag, dumplings, and a bone. Anyways, we go over to our dad, who's not looking so fresh, and go back home. Okay, we have to get our dad some medicine. Maybe in the new places we can now access with Mousy? Let's see. In this alley... Oh my god, our little bed has a portrait of us. I hadn't noticed that before. Anyways, in the alley there's the first Mousy exclusive location. And in there we find the church keys. Going into the church, we open the window to the alley, and that makes the preacher realize that she just talks and talks and is not doing anything for the people in need, and how kind the old priest was. So she gives the homeless food and shelter, and we make a new friend. And now there are some noise-canceling headphones over here. Oh, I know just who's gonna appreciate this. But first we have to break into the Health Twinkies factory. Mousy can enter through here and open the door for us. But the door to the lab is also closed, so Mousy again. We can bait the murder robots to fire at the control panel, opening the door for Dropsy. And then bait them again to fire here, making the magical Health Twinkie accessible. Then we just have to switch the murder robots to party mode, and then boom, we can steal the Twinkie. But hold on, our dying father can wait. I have to fix a minor inconvenience in the life of a stranger. On top of having a new friend now, we gain access to the beach. Here there's Fabio himself. He's already pretty happy with his life, so we don't have to do anything to befriend him. Then there's also a woman looking for the hippies. Hey, I know where they are! I just have no idea how to communicate that. We'll keep that in mind. And there's also a nudist building a sandcastle. He's also pretty content. To the left, we reach the airport, and Mousy can actually open the gate for us. Here we meet the security guard who loves Fabio novels. She's pissed that, guess who, the mutant bird. It stole one of the wheels of her scooter. Well, back to the mutant bird we go. Fun fact, I went there immediately after this, but the wheel wasn't there.
I suppose you have to wait for a new day to appear. But yeah, just forgive me for not fixing the scooter right away. I was having some technical difficulties.
Since we're close by, now we actually go to our dying father, give him the health Twinkie, and go to sleep. The following morning, we wake to pounding on the door, and our dad looks even worse. We answer, and the cop jumps at us, furious. Following him, it's the health Twinkie CEO. They caught us in the security camera. When he notices our dad, the CEO asks the cop and the robot to leave, and then invites us to talk to him at his office in the Twinkie building. When we leave the tent, our squirrel friend tells us that a little bird needs help, so we follow them into the forest. Here we meet Birdie. They tell us that their mom was captured and is being held at that place in the desert where we can find the first Fabio novel. And so we get a new companion, though not a friend yet. Birdie. They can fly, so anything that can't get to and Mousy can't climb to and Dropsy can't reach, it's a job for Birdie. Case in point, this coin in the playground. By the way, something small that I really appreciate in this game. You don't have to micromanage the pets. They just follow you into a new screen, no matter where in the current screen they are.
There are so many games where you can't leave the screen because you left the rat at the top of the stairs. Or you have to control both the main character and the pet separately, and it's just annoying. Here, there's none of that. They just follow you. It's amazing.
Anyways, with our new coin and that microphone we got in the beginning of the game, we can sing with this girl at the beach. And just like that, we get 2 new friends, because this guy is flabbergasted by her talent once we're there to flesh it out. Continuing to wander around, we end up in the junkyard again, and this guy is making soup for the king. We give him our tomatoes since that's what was in the recipe, and he tries it out but nah, still missing something. Sorry dude, I don't have a rag, or dumplings, or whatever that thing was, or a bone. We'll be back as soon as we do, though. We head over to talk to the CEO now, and this girl makes our ID. Since the CEO told her about us, she lets us hug her and befriend her. In his office, the CEO tells us that he's building a circus and wants us and our pets to work for him. Dropsy isn't sure, that sounds scary, but the CEO insists. We'll make people happy, everyone will love us, and he'll cover all our dad's medical expenses. Well, okay, when you put it like that. He tells us to go to the new circus now. But wait! Before we start our 9-to-5 life, we have to help as many people as possible. So put a pin on the whole employment ordeal. We can also see a golden key card right there, but can't grab it while the CEO is here. Walking through the beach, we can see that these two are getting along. Now we can finally repair the security guard's scooter and grab the key for that facility in the desert. Okay, so it seems like this is a mine. Here we can grab this broken lever, and to the left there's a lot for to dig. So here we have the holy pickaxe. I think we're gonna be able to get past the tough looking woman now. And also a page of something. To the right, we open this crate, but sorry, Birdie. Birdie is obviously sad and asks us to go bury their mom. Sure, buddy. And here we also get a bone. We bury the mother bird and now Birdie is happy and we finally befriend them. At the music shop, this guy's sad because there's no live music. Yeah, get in line, buddy. There's like 72 different people in this town who are sad because music. At the bridge, we show the woman our pickaxe. Well, if you're no vampire, then you're a friend. She lets us pass, but we still can't have any garlic. Guess you need that for the vampires, huh? Continuing to the left, into the anti-vampire settlement, we meet the eye patch dude. He's selling VHS tapes, video game cartridges, and cassette tapes for diamonds and pearls? I guess that's the special Dropsy price. Here there's a box Mousy can go in, and here we find another part of that statue. Continuing to the left, we get a fishing rod, and heading north, we can see a boat, though it has seen better days. Over to the right, there's a church, and okay, I guess these people worship a pickaxe-wielding Viking with sunglasses and their mortal enemy are the vampires. Got it. The priestess here is sad because several of the holy book's pages were torn and stolen. I mean, I found some pieces of paper around town. Are they yours? Seems like they are, but to befriend her, we need all of them. And she also won't let us take the garlic. You guys are acting like garlic is an endangered plant.
Garlic will sometimes start sprouting in the fridge. What's wrong with you?
Back outside, we grab this Riot Girl tape and talk to the band. They need money and would like to play gigs. I mean, I know a guy, but again, I'm not sure how to tell him about you. Walking back to town, we meet the chicken costume guy. He's got a new job, and we grab whatever he has here. Oh, they're costumes for our pets! You look like sushi, Birdie. Let's get that off you. Next to the town, there's a river and a fishing spot. And we get a pearl necklace. Okay, there's one eye patch guy who's gonna be very happy. At the record store, there's actually a radio with a cassette player. Let's see. Well, back to the band to tell them the good news. Since we're already here, we buy a game cartridge and befriend the one-eyed bandit. And also fish over here, where we get a fish. I mean, yeah, sure, what did I expect? We hand the record store card to the band and they're like, oh my god, we're hired! And we've just befriended a bunch of people. We see that the unhappy girl from the main road loves the blonde girl and asks us for her autograph. Ooh, she's gonna be so happy and flattered.
Fun fact, this interaction between the redhead girl and the blonde girl was actually, I think, the first time I saw a sapphic anything. Wait, when was The Last of Us Left Behind released?
Period! Exclamation point!
Okay, so it wasn't the very, 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 very first sapphic storyline I was exposed to. But I think it was the first, background one. No drama, no nothing, just a girl crushing on a girl. Remember, I was 13 when Dropsy first came out, so, you know.
Anyways, here we can also ask the drummer to fix the bolt, since she's always working on that car. She agrees and boom, we set sail. Fun fact, for some reason every time I load a save, Dropsy is standing way higher than he should be. I don't know why. Anyways, we reach this island here where a hermit lives. We can mess with his generator and scare him with a vampire mask, making him hide in his bunker? Hooray! Here we can grab this picture. Oh, so he's that guy from town's brother. And we can grab this vinyl also. Going back to town, we give the sad girl the bassist autograph, and here's another friend. We also give that vinyl to this guy. Yay!
Making people unhappy to make others happy is okay, I guess, in Dropsy's book.
Case in point, we give the cop the game cartridge and he's happy because information on the eye patch guy. We now give the brother the half portrait and he asks us to take him to the island. Yay, family reunion! Something that I realized is that both the hippies and the brothers have dark skin, red hair and green eyes. That's usually shorthand for related in video games or cartoons. But I didn't really see anything that points to that except the appearance. Maybe that's just the most common look in wherever we are. Anyways, back in town, talking to Brother One about a broken lever grants us a new lever. But we still need another one to open the mines. Visiting the Viking temple at night, the priestess isn't there, so we can grab some garlic. And turns out that the rag dumpling is actually garlic from that recipe, so we can go over to the junkyard and finish the soup. Here we can grab another expired Twinkie, and look! So cute, the king is painting a portrait of us!
And then I spent an ungodly amount of time trying to figure out the hungry, hungry creature puzzle.
I even see it, it's this mutant crab. But let's just get out of here and do something else. At the record store, we can see a phone number and a guitar. So we call from home and get an acoustic guitar for free, I hope. So we've actually helped everyone who's sad because of music already. Except one. Oh, you're still here? Good for you. Guess the cop was happy with just the faintest of leads. At the island, we talk to Brother 2, and he gives us the second mine lever.
Yippee? I'm not sure I want to go into that mine, but I don't think we have a choice.
At the forest, we give the fish we fished like 3 days ago and kept in our pants to our dear lonely fish and make 2 new slimy friends. Well, on to the mines. Here we can find the remaining pages of the Viking Bible. And... oh wait, gotta get that golden key card. We take the beach way back and... oh! Good for you, security guard! Living your best fanfiction life. And Fabio looks pretty happy too. Here we can give the dream catcher to the woman searching for the siblings. I don't know if the siblings are gonna appreciate this, but I mean, Dropsy is all for helping everyone, no matter what. Luckily, they're pretty happy to see their mom, and I don't know. Yay, family reunion! Back to the mines, we use the golden key card, and here we find these columns, and Mousy can access this underground area where we can do this. Okay? Back to the Viking church, we give the priestess all the missing pages.
Okay, we've stalled enough. Let's go to work.
On the way to the new circus, we stop by the wheat farm again. Birdie can fly through the ceiling, and there we can see a portrait of the CEO, his brother, and their father. Mousy can access the other side of the trailer, where we find a letter and a cassette tape. Continuing to the right, we give the security guard our ID and they let us in. Here, things are still under construction and the CEO is waiting for us in the big top. We showcase our tricks to him and he's ecstatic, telling us to go to sleep and tomorrow's more work. No, the more work is when I say it is. But something nice is that he gives us a car. In the tradition of clowns, we don't really fit in it, but it even has a cassette player. At Brother One's stand, we can get these pretty purple crystals. Ooh, the House of Horrors at the beach is now open. Let's check it out. There are 2 no Twinkie signs, so when we meet this giant crab in the back, what do? Give it a spoiled Twinkie, of course, and it breaks out of its enclosure. Okay, it's time for the mutant crab section. We have to dress our pets in the Twinkie costumes we got and put them in danger. Ugh, goes first. He stands by the generator here, and in its gluttony, the crab electrocutes itself, and the shockwaves make the grate fall and a tiny mutant crab appears. It reminds me of Mr. Krabs when he sheds his shell. Anyways. Next up is Birdie, and they bait the baby crab to electrocute itself on the antenna here, which makes us able to grab it and shove it into our pants. Dropsy has no bedtime and fears no god. This makes this structure rise from the sea. Next up is Mouse's time to shine. And so what we have to do here is bait the crab to the left corner, then sprint to the right so it can electrocute itself. But how to say this nicely? The game wasn't exactly made for a puzzle like this. In the Twinkie factory, the murder robots would lock in and give you a little bit of time to get out of the way. And this is good because sometimes Mouse's pathfinding freaks out. But here the crab is so quick. Your control over Mousy is not nearly good enough for this to be a good puzzle in this game, in this engine. Like in the way it was programmed, you know what I mean? Mousy often doesn't go exactly where you want them to go. Doesn't take the path you want them to take.
It's just not it.
Now, this crab part was released along with the beach update, which came out like 7 years after the rest of the game. So I'm assuming that the dev was like, it's doable, there you go. And forgot that this is a pretty big deviation from everything else in the game.
No other puzzles are frustrating, much less because of the mechanics.
Anyways, it's not impossible, so there you go. Using this glove, which being perfectly honest, I don't remember where I got, a bridge to the structure appears and we enter. Let's get these costumes off you. I'm so sorry for putting you through this. In here we find this guy hanging out. And here there's a ball, a diamond, and a square. And when we click on them, we see this. Okay. It seems like those boxes were stored here before, if the 3 alcoves are anything to go by. And that's it, that's all we find here. Back out, we hand the baby crab to its parents, and now we have new friends. Back in town, we check in with the church, and oh, I forgot to hug the cook. He also couldn't stand the preaching, so he's very happy about our antics. Giving a coin to this alien guy in the desert, he gives us an alien whistle. Now, you might have noticed some strange structures in town. And that's because there are actually aliens around. Using this whistle in this strange cave, we can summon one, and it's really hungry. We give it the purple crystals, it eats, and immediately poops out these radioactive rings, which we take. New friend! Now, the alien guy was sad because his rings had deteriorated and weren't glowing anymore.
Yeah, my guy, they are...
Well, never mind, he's happy and we've made a new friend. Going home, we can see that the nurse from the hospital is taking care of our dad. And on the wall of our bedroom, we can see portraits of all of our friends. This is so cute, I love this detail so much. And I love how they're not given, adult emulating children's drawings. They really have that weird children's drawings air to them. We go to bed and the following morning head towards the circus. Entering the tent though, we notice that our pets didn't follow. We can then see getting into trouble. Oh, okay, so that's what those control panels are for. Mousy and Birdie tell Dropsy what happened and we run to the rescue. First up, the mines. We can hear ughs, yelps, but he's actually under here where Dropsy can't reach. And Mousy, well, lifting the dog is a bit above their pay grade. So they send him over to the junkyard using this control panel here. Then off to the junkyard, and there's our friend! I know you're just trying to protect me from the terrifying ordeal of employment, but we have to do this. Dad's life is on the line. We go back to the circus and practice all our tricks at once, and the CEO is impressed. He, once again, tells us to go home and sleep. Tomorrow's the big opening. Yippee! Back home, our dad's up again, and just in time to see us perform. He tells us that he loves us, that we've grown so much, and that he has to talk to us. We enter the shed, which has been locked throughout the whole game. We're an alien! So apparently this is just Dropsy's face, it's not makeup, and his hands being like this while everyone else has fingers isn't just a cosmetic decision because main character. He's literally an alien. There's a computer here with something written on it, a map with 3 locations of what seems to be the monoliths we've seen, and our crib spaceship. After this revelation, we go to sleep to be ready for the grand opening, but a robot from the Twinkie company sneaks into the shed in the middle of the night. When we wake up, we notice that our pets aren't with us. Leaving the tent, we meet our dad and the CEO. He tells us that our pets are already at the circus, we just have to head there for the show to start. Talking to Dad, he once again tells us that he loves us and that he'll see us at the circus. And... fiddlesticks, we left the car there. Guess we'll have to walk, and... what is this? What is this poster? They're plastered all over town. What's going on here? At the circus, the robot escorts us to the tent, passing by ecstatic children and right in front of the news camera. Hey, it's your fault for setting it up like this. We walk in and the big top is quiet. And then... Okay, what just happened? They mutated our pets and tried to kill us. And why does the CEO want to kill us? It seems like he planned a sort of gruesome public execution for Dropsy, but why? Going outside, we see on the news that we're wanted by the police for apparently making our pets attack people. We can go in the Twinkie place, fell through earlier, and now the door to the left is open, taking us underground. To the left, we can see animals being experimented on, and to the right, there's a door. Here we enter a sort of secret bunker, with paintings of the CEO seemingly commanding aliens and wearing a crown? There are also 2 crib spaceships, just like our own. A newspaper article showing all the people that died in the circus fire 5 years ago. Mom, a family of 3, the custom shop owner's wife, and the priest. To the left, there are some weird masks, and on the table we get the final piece of the sculpture. Going up the ladder, we find out that we're under the wheat farm. So, the CEO is also an alien? Like, I have so many questions. Leaving the farm, we can see people wondering where we are, and that the CEO drove his Twinkie car to our home. And then... this? I don't know what it means, but I guess we'll find out. Around town, we can see all our friends pointing in the direction the CEO went, and in front of the tent, the squirrel tells us this again. Well, since everyone's blocking off the branching paths now, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. The shed has been ruined, but the crypt's still here. Not sure what the CEO was looking for. Well, since we're already here, let's complete that statue. Wait, so not only is he also an alien, but he's our brother? And this other bald guy, our other brother, where is he? We head south and the path leads us through this strange forest, and a cavern, and finally the monolith. A strange portal opened to us. We enter and are transported to this place. At the end of the path, we find the CEO, kneeling before a statue that has our very same lack of fingers. We try to hug him, but... Okay, we're not dead. We're back with the mothership, I guess. And then this platform ascends, showing us the whole ship. And now we're in the throne room, with our biomom, dad, our pets back to normal, and 2 guards, and apparently we're the king of the aliens. The end.
I'm gonna be real with you. The way I remembered, things were much more cut and dry. Like, I don't think this was the intention, because if it was, then that's a very strange inspiration for a wholesome game. But this ending is given Pan's Labyrinth. Like, if you know, you know. If you don't know, I shan't say anymore.
Of course, the main asset of the story isn't the intricate storytelling, it's helping people and making friends. So the weird ending doesn't ruin the game or anything, but still it's odd.
Like, it's so abrupt. We literally just found out that we're aliens 10 minutes ago, and now we're the king of the aliens. So off I went to Steam discussions to find out more. So the first thing I found out is that the writings throughout the game, they aren't gibberish, they're just a cipher.
Steam users Morin and Hall translated everything as shown in their walkthrough of the game, so thanks to them. Here we find out that we're actually on an island called Malus, and the monoliths were constructed 3 years ago by a lost civilization.
3 years ago? Lost civilization? Maybe aliens are just considered a lost civilization. Anyways, the most interesting thing is the letter we find by the Christmas tree in the abandoned wheat farm.
It reads, "Merry Christmas, Father! Come to the cellar and bring my brother. I have a surprise for both of you." Oh, I think I know what those masks are now.
So the CEO killed his father and brother, and he wanted to kill us too, the last brother. Maybe because he wanted to rule? There was that picture of him wearing a crown. But one question remains. Why are we here? Why are we down on Malus?
I mean, our mom is clearly alive and kicking, the civilization floating around in a spaceship, so what gives?
Well, what I think is going on, and this is just a theory that's not very grounded on evidence, but it does fit, is that this is a test.
As we can see from the hologram, the CEO was actually the firstborn, but he still felt the need to kill his siblings in order to secure the throne. That only makes sense, especially with such charming and unambitious siblings such as Dropsy, if the order of succession isn't dictated by age, but by something else.
I think that the CEO figured out that much, but didn't know what exactly the test was looking for in the potential ruler of the aliens, so he decided that the safest bet was to kill off the competition. For one reason or another, he left Dropsy alive for this long. Maybe he wasn't 100% sure that Dropsy was his long-lost sibling until recently, and by then he was already building a circus, so he decided to make a public execution. But I don't know.
And on the computer in the shed, there's this email that I honestly have no idea. Other than that, I saw user TunyD on Reddit say that the only way back to the mothership was the 3 baby cribs together. I mean, Dropsy's crib is still right there, so maybe it's something in it that allows for those portals to be open. It also feels like only a sensible guess, but hey, they seem pretty sure of themselves.
Oh, if only there was an official source for further information on the story.
Dropsy can actually speak to animals, even though people don't understand him. Needs children, work.
Seems like the devs scrapped a lot of minigame ideas like Frogger and things like that. Seems like the first draft of the game was much more on rails. Also, this first draft had a much bigger emphasis on we need to collect scrap metal to survive Dropsy, which is good that it was changed. Like, this is a cozy help people game. The stress to pay the bills doesn't match that vibe at all.
You were supposed to get a slideshow history of Dropsy's people as the credits roll.
I mean, it would have made the ending feel less like Pan's Labyrinth, but that was also scrapped.
A lot of additional puzzles were stripped from that final part where everyone's pointing to where the CEO went. Good decision, honestly. No one wants to think about disguises during the emotional climax of the story. Blah blah blah. 10 years older than Dropsy? He remembers the home planet?
Oh yes, send the brothers to the planet, with the older one being 10 and dreaming of ruling. What could go wrong?
Here there are some soldiers who look like Dropsy fighting geese, I think. So there were problems in their planet. I honestly kinda wish we got the desert-dwelling Catholic punks. Oh, okay, so there was war and the planet was in shambles and Dropsy's people were a war-centered civilization and their mom has been planet hopping looking for them.
Well, I like my trial idea better, but to each their own. Anyways, Dropsy's Book of Secrets is really cool. Usually these additional PDFs are more... how do I put this? Polished. Let's take one I own. Yeah, the Black Book one would do.
It's a bunch of concept art and some text explaining the initial ideas and how they progressed.
With Dropsy's Book of Secrets, like, you see the game process because it's just the development notes scanned and put together. I think this would be especially interesting for people who struggle with laying the foundations to actually create a game. To see how the process actually works and see that someone who also writes "fix the plot holes, dumbass" to himself actually managed to create something so wonderful. It must be really inspiring. Not my case, but you know, if this is you, get this DLC. The Warm Damp Hug also includes the soundtrack, which is something that I collect. Okay, while writing the script, I just figured out that I collect game soundtracks under the shaky foundations of I'm gonna use it to make videos. Like, stop lying to yourself, Liv. You have a collection. But anyways, yes, Dropsy soundtrack. It's what you've been listening to throughout this video, so if you like it, again, you know what to do. The last thing I want to mention about this game is that, you know, something that made me really curious? I don't remember seeing a cat anywhere. I mean, I'm not saying the dev is a cat hater or anything, but the game has dog, rat, bird, squirrel, fish, crab, mutant bird, and not a cat in sight. Talking about the dev, what's he been up to? Also, hey Jay, he's still super involved with Dropsy even 10 years after making it. Like, if you make a post on Steam discussions about it, he's probably gonna respond. So the chances of him watching this aren't zero, so hey.
Sadly, jazzy, avant-garde, religious music isn't lucrative, so game development is how I make my living. What an amazing opening line. So this is Jay's website, and it looks very cool.
Bro's living the dream of thousands, good for him!
He usually handles the artistic side of games, writing, music, art, etc., and then collabs with a programmer for the boring stuff. He has 2 other games out. Hypnospace Outlaw, which is an OS simulator and looks pretty nice. I might check it out someday.
And Slayer X, which is a first-person shooter. Gonna have to sit this one out, fellas.
And then there's Dream Saddler, which is also an OS simulator and is currently in development at the time of writing the script. In this website, there's also, of course, Jay's music.
I checked out a few tracks, and they're not really my thing, but if you like,
digital prog, digital fusion, art pop, and avant pop, boy do I have an artist for you. There's some other stuff in the website and a picture so unflattering of young Jay that I refuse to show it here.
Like, yes, I am looking like this on camera, and it's also very unflattering. And yes, he did post that picture on the internet, but guess you're gonna have to scour through his website to find it. Well, I don't know how to close the dev section today, so... So this part doesn't have kind of much to do with the game itself, but it's something that happened during the making of this video, and I want to talk about it. So Dropsy is like completely incompatible with OBS. I tried everything and the game just refuses to be recorded. So I decided to use Steam's newish built-in record function. Oh boy. So everything's all well and good up until you have to export the file. Because yeah, Steam doesn't actually record the gameplay, it creates a file that you then have to export to MP4. Which, MP4, is it really that hard to export things into MKV? For comparison, a video of about an hour, 1080p, 60 FPS in MKV is rounding up 400 MBs. Now, a video of around an hour, 1080p, 60 FPS is 1.64 gigabytes. Yeah. Plus, if things crash, it's really easy to fix an MKV file. MP4, on the other hand, you're gonna have to re-record that there's no fixing. But anyways, you gotta do what you gotta do. Export to MP4 it is. My computer was about to take flight, and it takes so long. Like, it would take around half the runtime of the video to export it. So with the aforementioned 1 hour video, it would take around 40 minutes until I had that footage. When this feature was implemented, I thought it was for content creators. Like I said, sometimes games just don't like OBS. But that cannot be the case like this. But if it's for people to share short clips on Steam itself, I don't think it's doing too well. Like, I don't know about you, but I've only been seeing screenshots under the games I play. You know, like it's always been. Anyways, that's all. That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah 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 blah. And I'll make more videos if an anvil doesn't fall on my head. Bye!
Hi. Hi. Do you like this? Do you like this look? Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
How does that look?